Hey everybody, Steven here with Cardboard Coalition. And today, because we recently got this and it's the new hotness right now, I figured I would talk about the differences between Marvel United, the original game, and Marvel United X-Men. These are both the base games. They're both base copies of the game, the ones that you can go out even to your big box store and pick up. So I have the game set up right here. And you might notice some differences, you might not, depending on if you know how to set the game up or not. And if you don't know how to set the game up, you can watch the video that we put out about setting up the game, about how to play, really, Marvel United. But I show you how to set up the game. So it sets up almost exactly the same, and there's some differences. So some of the differences that are in this game, if you're playing the normal game, there's not many differences. There's a couple, and I'll talk about them closer to the end. But if you play the normal game, you set it up pretty much the same. But if you play supervillain mode, I believe it's supervillain mode. Now I feel like I need to, let me look at my references. But if you play supervillain mode, you set it up slightly different. Yes, it is supervillain mode. I had to check myself there for a second. So in supervillain mode, you could play up to 5 people. The normal game's 4. And how you fit in that 5th person is by having someone play the villain. In this case, it's Juggernaut. So as you see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 heroes set up and a villain, Juggernaut. And we also have the heroes kind of over here, the miniatures. Yay, the little chibi miniatures. The lighting is not the best right now. I'm trying to adjust it so you guys don't get a lot of glare. But there you go. So here are some of the differences right off the bat. 1, you could play as the villain. The other thing is you have super villain, which you guys can't see them because they're off in the corner here. You have super villain and superhero cards. These are extra abilities and they don't count as your deck, right? So the super villain, when they get ready to play, you set up like normal, like you're setting up to play with the supervillain. I can't remember how many master plan cards they have, but you shuffle that deck, right? But before you do anything for the villain, you take this set of 12 cards, well, there's less in here right now, and you go through it and you pick 4, and you decide to keep 3, and you put the rest back. So Juggernaut has his 3. It's kind of a game hog, so you know, it's a little bit hard to show everything. I guess we can put them over here so you guys can see them. All right. So, supervillain, there's a supervillain deck, and as you see down here, there's a superhero deck, right? And these cards, there's 8 of them. Each hero would get 2, so each hero randomly grabs 2. They look at those 2, and they choose 1, and they take it. You don't want the supervillain to see the superhero cards. The supervillain doesn't want the superheroes to see the supervillain cards. And they're just extra cards. Beyond that, a little bit of the change is instead of just taking a card, because in the normal one, when no one plays the villain, or when you're playing normal mode, not 5-player, not the supervillain mode, you just take a master plan card and set it down at certain points. Heroes go 3 times, then master plan. Heroes go 3 times, then master plan, until you get rid of the first card, right? And then the hero, it says right here, and you would watch the video I could talk about, you fill these out by doing things on the board. And then it would be 2 heroes, 1 villain, 2 heroes, 1 villain. And there are cards that modify this, right? So in this, the differences here is you get the super villain. Well, you get to play as the super villain. You get the superhero cards, and you get the super villain card. These are just extra cards they get to play at a point. There's triggers on them, and they reflect each other. The superhero, super villain cards are the same. But what happens is it triggers, right? A villain ends their movement in your location. That's what triggers this card. And the effect is have, like I said, the lighting's not so great so I can get you guys no glare. Move to another location. So that's trigger. So you could play that. The trigger is if the villain lands where you're at, then you can just instantly play that card and move. Now, if you've played this before, like I said, you know, heroes play 3 cards, villain plays a master plan, 3 cards master plan, 2, get rid of that, then it's the 2 cards master plan, right? Another change, at least this is what I've noticed because I only have the 2 base games, is that some of the heroes have a card that says starting hand. And this means this card goes into your starting hand. All right. This is your first card and you have to play it. You play the starting hand card on your first go. So Wolverine has to play this. There's some extra text with things he gets to do. And the cool thing that I noticed about them, I've talked about this before, is the art tends to be the same, right? It's him swinging. That's just a close-up. This one is a different picture, right, with that starting card. So I noticed that, and that's kind of fun. But I noticed with the X-Men, you get this starting card. It's the first card you have to play. It's in your original hand, and then you play that card. So some of the other things that kind of change is when you're playing the supervillain mode, you will also see that each of these heroes have an extra token down here. This is a heroic action. These go here. Like I said, if you watch the How to Play, you know, or if you want the information, you can watch it. But the supervillain on the back of the card, when you're setting up for supervillain mode, it tells you supervillain, right? It's supervillain mode. It says heroes start with these four tokens: wild card, heroic action, heroic action. Heroes decide how to pass them out. And that would probably be based on what the threat cards are on the table and where people think they want to go or what strengths they have. And you can talk it out and pass them out. But I just kind of gave everybody one randomly. So another thing that comes in this game is there's some extra tokens. So there's some things that you can do to delay the villain's master plan deck. You can delay, and it's a card effect. So if you get that, you would put it on the deck. And this is in the regular mode. But the other thing you can do is the villain can be accelerated. So what that means is green means you delay the master plan, them putting down a master plan card. Orange means that you're accelerating it, so they get to put one down sooner. So let's take that scenario of 3 hero cards play and then a master plan. 3 hero cards, master plan. So if there's a delay, which is weird because it's green, but okay, there's a delay, you're going to play 4 hero cards and then a master plan finally goes out. If there is a delay, let's see, an acceleration of the master plan card, you put down this orange one. And if you've seen the other video or you've played before, you know you put the cards out in a row because you can play off each other's cards. So you would put this at the end of the row of cards to say, okay, instead of going 3, the villain's going to go 2 this turn. Or if you've already got rid of this and you'd go 2 hero, 1 villain, instead of going 2, heroes go once, and this reminds you that then a villain card, master plan, goes down. And you would just take this card and move it away. So you get those tokens. Like I said, this is new to me. If it was in one of the other expansions, I don't know yet. I'll get them eventually, but I don't know yet. The other thing that's kind of new with this is you have these things down here. And I'll just explain them really quick. So you slowly unlock them. So you unlock this one. And it doesn't matter. You can unlock any of them. Right? Let's, for argument, say you get this. You always shift them over to the right, so you unlock that first space, right? And this one lets you do the villain, after every 2 hero cards, the villain goes. Once you get rid of 2 of these, right, then you can attack the villain. So you can go there and you can beat up the villain, and you have to take, he has 4 hit points. So you'd have to hit him for 4. So let's go ahead and put these back down. So one of the things I saw was new with this one, and it, like I said, with expansions, it might already been out there, but between the 2 base games, X-Men brings in this card, and I had to look it up for a second because I was like, wait a minute, what is this card for? It is if you play as Magneto, right? And it'll tell you in the special rules and stuff, you put out this card. So it's a different, I can't remember the name of the cards now. Let's call them challenge cards. You swap it out for something else, and you put down the challenge card. All right, so that's different. So you have another challenge card, which would be interesting if some of the other expansions have some challenge cards. All right, what else do we have? Well, if you play Mystique as a villain, you get this token, which goes into how she plays. and it's the senator, I'm assuming, right, from the books and the movies, right? If you are Sabretooth, there's this extra token, which makes it a target, right? We'll refer to the references again to make sure I use the right one. Nope, I called this one the wrong one. It's the hunted token, and the other one's Senator Kelly. So I was right with the senator. So you play with Mystique, you get kind of an extra thing that happens, right? So those are kind of new and different. And the other thing that's interesting about this, and I'll show you guys, if you look here, Juggernaut's red. Villains are red, right? Heroes are blue. So we got, I think I grabbed Jean Grey, right? Yep, Jean Grey, right? Blue. All the heroes are blue. But there are anti-heroes. So, well, anti-heroes, what that really means, they are anti-heroes, is what they're calling them. But what it means is you can play as a hero or a villain, and they're magenta. So Magneto is magenta. Yeah, I know the light doesn't seem so great. Let me see if I can talk to you guys and turn the light really quick. Like I said, I was trying to stop glare from happening really bad, but we'll put some glare in. As you can see, it lights everything up a lot. So there's Magneto, right? And so purple means they could either be played as a villain. We'll set him out there. They could be played as a villain or as a hero. So as you see here, you have Magneto has his, I should probably flip him this way. This is for villain mode if you're playing with 5 players. But Magneto has his own villain board that you could set up and you can play. And so does Mystique. She has her own villain set up. Along with that, they also have their own villain deck, right? If you guys know, this tells you how the villain moves around and what it does. So they have their own villain deck and threat deck for both Magneto and Mystique. So they can be played as villains, right? But they can also be played as heroes, right? So here is, and this is what a hero deck looks like. If you've played before, you know this. So Magneto can be used as a hero. He can be played as a hero or a villain. Oop, almost dropped him. And same with Mystique. She could be played as a hero or a villain. This is her hero deck, see? So she also has starting hand. She has 2 cards that go in her starting hand. And they show you, the Wolverine one's a little harder to see. Now the light's kind of weird. It's a little harder to see because it's blue, just like the card. It's blue and then the card's blue. The Mystique one, her background's whitish gray and the card's red. But anyways, so Magneto and Mystique both can be played as both heroes or villains. And you don't have to play the villain mode to play them as heroes or villains. You can play the regular mode where it's up to 4 heroes against a villain that the master plan deck's the AI deck and moves the villain around. And you could use Magneto or Mystique to do that. So beyond that, everything else is pretty much the same. It comes with tons of tokens. I have them off to the side and I'm throwing them everywhere. I stacked them off to the side. But the changes that I noticed between the 2 sets are adding the hero mode, adding the supervillain mode, adding the supervillain deck and the superhero deck, adding those extra cards into play, right? Adding the extra tokens. I mean, this is all under hero mode, right? That hero mode adds the extra tokens. These acceleration, deceleration tokens. Right? Oh, and I did forget, if for whatever reason in a playthrough there would be an acceleration, well, the villain, we'll just go this way. The villain card plays 1 card later than it normally would, or 1 card earlier than it normally would. If they were both played during the same round before the villain can play his master plan card, they just cancel out. But these are something that I noticed was new. The different challenge for Magneto was new. The specific extra tokens for Mystique and Wolverine and Sabretooth were new. And also the ability to play, and this is the big difference, right? Is the ability to play use certain characters as heroes or villains, right? So you have Magneto. Now, if you guys are watching this and there's the YouTube, or there's the Kickstarter, this is the YouTube. There's the Kickstarter where you can get more stuff. If you got in, you'll probably be able to get some of the stuff later on. There'll be some expansions that get out later on, but no one's really sure, because with the original Marvel United, there was only like one, I think only one Kickstarter exclusive. Now they don't, and there was one Kickstarter exclusive, sorry. And then it ended up being a lot of them were Kickstarter exclusive, and people couldn't get the expansions on the regular market, so after Kickstarter. But this one has some expansions. That whole ramble was about, I don't know for sure if they're going to come out where you can go to your local shop to get them. I'm sure one or two of them might, but they will have some of these players. The hero, anti-hero, well, hero, villain, anti-hero player. So those are the major changes that I noticed. I didn't go through a whole how to play with this one because we already did a how to play. You can go ahead and check that out, and it'll tell you how to play the game. And then if you're interested in playing this one where you can play up to 5, there are those small differences. There's someone plays as the villain. They set up their hand. They draw 2 cards instead of the heroes get 3 cards. They get 2 cards. But then it's just the same. On their turn, they draw a card, and then they play a card. Draw a card, play a card. But they have these extra, heroes have superhero cards, supervillain cards. But everything else is pretty much the same. Move the locations, you do the things in the locations, save civilians, beat up thugs, all that kind of stuff is all the same. So I hope that was a thorough enough, and I know it's small too, and this is a very simple, fun game, but thorough enough to let anybody know kind of what some of the new things are between the 2 base. So if you've only bought the base of Marvel United, which they could call Marvel United Avengers, and then Marvel United X-Men, you know kind of the differences in what's in there. Beyond that, what I would really say, if you're interested in buying one of these, and they are fun, they're very lightweight, fun, quick paced, and you can play it with lots of age groups and in game ability levels and stuff like that. Think about what X-Men you like. Do you like more the Avengers? Then go with Marvel United, just the original one. If you like X-Men more, you can go Marvel United X-Men. But hopefully you guys enjoyed my kind of random run through of what differences are there in Marvel United X-Men. And I'll see you later, everybody. I'm Steven with Cardboard Coalition. Bye.